Hi friends, it's Molly with Soul School Tarot and Astrology. Welcome to my channel. If you are new, welcome back if you are not. It is so good to be back with you guys and on camera. I don't feel like I look the cutest, but I'm gonna be honest with you guys, just a real quick little bit about me. I have to get over my need to look cute on camera because Spirit's been talking to me about the fact that there's just a lot of messages that need to get out. If you are a subscriber, you know I've been pretty sparse throughout the month of January, but Spirit is like, girl, you need, let's go. Let's get back. So here we are. This is for the Aries collective. My readings are timeless. They are collective and general, so take it only as it resonates. Don't go adopting problems that are not yours. But I'm also pulling back on extendeds for now. So this is what you're going to get. Okay. All right. Real quick plug. If you guys are interested in a monthly personal reading, 15 minutes for $17. If you guys subscribe, there's a link below. Okay. I also do those in 30 and 45-minute increments. If you're into it, everything you need is below. Let's get into this reading, you guys. Okay. First things first, I usually have more cards on the table, but I got like 3 right now, and I was like, whew. This is definitely one of those readings that, like I said before, do not go adopting problems that are not yours. But for some of you guys, this is going to confirm something that honestly might not have been apparent to you before. All right, so Aries, interesting deck combination. We start off with the Healing Your Mind and Spirit cards. And oh my gosh, you guys. First of all, the mantra here, I am constantly evolving into a more spiritual person. It's a prereq for being here at Soul School, by the way. That's the only thing you have to do, is open to evolve, all right? Check this out, though. I kind of chuckled a little bit. If you're evolving into a more loving, more compassionate, less violent person, Aries, then you're moving in the right direction. I laid that down and I was like, yo, this could only be for, maybe 3 signs, Aries being one of them. All right. Violent. What does that mean? That doesn't mean that you guys are throwing things and hitting people. In fact, as soon as that came out, Spirit kind of said, you have to talk about what the word violent means. And then I set the deck down and booze. Look what I found. My greatest lesson is to learn about the power of love. The word violent here means, to me, acting out of a lack of love, acting in an unloving way. Sometimes we act in that way because we're essentially acting out of a lack of love for ourselves. Or if we act out of a lack of love for others. That's really what I think Spirit wants to get to when it's talking about a less violent person. Just being aware of the lovingness of your actions is, I think, something that you guys, if this reading resonates with you, and by the way, I set the intention that they'll find who they're meant for at the time that it makes the most sense for them. All right. So if this is your reading, that's something that you're becoming conscious of on a daily basis. Oh, okay. Maybe I could be more loving. Maybe if I want to expect more love from the people around me, I have to see more love around me, and I should act, and I should also speak with love more often than maybe the typical Aries is used to doing. All right. And like I said at the beginning, this is something that I don't even think there was the self-consciousness just didn't exist before. I think some of you guys are like, oh, wow. I didn't realize that sometimes when I act in this way, people interpret it as unloving. Or when I act in that way, it's really coming from a place where I'm unable to love myself, right? That's what shadow work is all about. Just like being willing to address those parts about ourselves that we don't necessarily like. We don't know why we're like that. We don't like that we're like that, but that's what the shadow work is for. Getting in there and figuring that out, right? So you guys are doing that work and I love it. But you're holding on tight to something that It's a truth. By the way, this is the Shuffle Tarot. So you're going to see cards like this. This is the Nine of Swords. And it doesn't look like the typical Nine of Swords where somebody's like holding their hands, like sitting up in bed, the Nightmare card, right? It looks a lot like the Nine of Wands. And that character is actually from the Nine of Cups. So that's what the Shuffle Tarot is all about. These are the two decks that were called out for your reading today. And I was like, oh, okay, let's see how these two play together. And I like it. I like it. But what's going on here, the Nine of Wands, which is the main imagery that we're getting here, is a card of defensiveness. It's the wounded warrior. And so what's going on is, since wands represent energy, that is somebody who's like putting up some sort of energetic blockage. You are putting up some sort of mental blockage. Do you see how he's like clinging to that sword? Yeah, he's not, because swords are thoughts and ideas. And, or even the way that we speak. Mercury's about to go retrograde, so get ready for about 4 weeks. This is Freddie, by the way, of the universe pointing this out to you if you guys aren't already getting the message, all right? So basically, there's this truth that you're clinging to, this thing that you're not willing to put down. And here's what's crazy about it. As much as we have the imagery of the Nine of Cups, Nine of Wands, yep, let's do that, and the Nine of Swords all in this card, what I initially saw when it came out was the Eight of Swords, which is somebody standing in the middle of the swords, and they're all like, you know, blindfolded and tied up, and they're like, how am I going to get out of this? But the thing is, all of those thoughts that are surrounding this person in that image are self-created, right? It's self-restricting thoughts. But things that, again, that you aren't aware of, which is why she's got a blindfold on. You're defending some self-restricting thought that the universe is trying to shake free from you. And you're like, nope, this is it. This is what I think is true. I'm not going to question it. I don't want to put it down. And I know that it might be limiting, but I'm not going to put it down. You're like defending yourself with this sword. Okay? You're defending yourself with this sword, which does make me feel like it might be the way you speak to people sometimes. Aries, okay? Aries is very much about self, but that doesn't mean that they're always self-aware. Does that make sense to you? And it's not, there's a lot of us that are sometimes not very self-aware, all right? So sometimes I think what the message is coming through here is saying, sometimes Aries, you're so caught up in being Aries that you forget that other people have perspectives and emotional attachments to their reality as well as you. All right? This is a hard reading, you guys. Like I said, don't take it if it's not yours. We got the Ten of Wands here. I like that one. Thank you. Thank you. I like this next one. By the way, look at this deck. It's 2 decks. It's all put together. I'm just going to draw from this part of the deck as long as the messages are speaking to me. Because it's just kind of, it's really big and hard to handle. 10 of Wands, but with the 10 of Swords / 7 of Swords energy. I mean what I mean, you know what I'm saying. It's a 10 of Swords. It's time to put an end to this kind of thinking. But you're not going to do it until you realize how much it's hurting you. You're stabbing yourself in the back. Let's break this down. 1, 2, 3. And then there's 7. All right. So 7 of Swords. Sometimes it's about not being honest with yourself. You guys, I'm not trying to be rude, but I think that some of you guys are defending something that you know limits you and sabotages you. You're defending an idea that you know is against your best interest. And maybe it's just kind of like right there on the subconscious, unconscious level, but you know, it's just something like if he just turned around and looked, he'd be like, oh my gosh, I've built a gate out of my thoughts. Okay? And this right here, though, this might be a little side note for some of you guys. There's these 3 swords in his back. Some of you actually have been betrayed by people. And you're not being honest about the fact that those people put those swords in your back. Some of you are like, oh, no, this is my problem. I'm going to go. I'll go take care of it. I'll get myself cleaned up. Don't worry. And you need to be honest with you about maybe these 8 swords behind you are the voices of people who are holding you back. And you're like, they're my friends. Well, let's talk about friend. Like we had to talk about the word violent. What does it really mean? I was thinking about it. I was meditating on this. And it's like, for me, when you think about what friendship is, in its healthiest form, it's about 2 people who just respect the hell out of each other's boundaries and differences. That's my friends that I have, that I've had for like 20, 25 years, are people who respect boundaries and differences. People who don't respect those things, we carry them around like friends an awful lot. But sometimes we got to stop and look at what's in our back and who put it there. For some of you guys, it has something to do with your image or your sense of who you think yourself to be. And that might be exactly who you've been in the past. But when you start evolving, if the people around you are not, guess what? You need to evolve the people that you're around. You gotta let that change. You gotta leave it behind. For some of you guys, this is some sort of behavior that it's almost like, yeah, I know exactly why those people stabbed me in the back, but I'm going to go ahead and walk into my next relationship in the exact same way. Because it's something that you really want to defend. Okay? Man, all these swords. I tell you what, as much as these are timeless readings, today is the Leo full moon. And tomorrow Mercury goes retrograde. Lots of swords. All right? And it's all in Aquarius. Yeah. Okay? Don't worry, babes. We're going to get you there. Things are going to be good in the end. All right? So here's what you have the opportunity to stop doing that. Okay? You see how this guy is just like really, really super defensive everywhere he goes. For some of you, okay. What I'm getting is this thing where sometimes you're like, you know what? I do think I need to speak to people in a more loving way. But you're not paying attention to the fact that your friends talk to you like crap or talk to each other like in a not very nice way. And it's hard for you to reprogram your behaviors when people around you aren't doing the same, right? So for some of you, you're coming to the realization gradually that energetically speaking, you kind of are who you surround yourselves with. And when you begin to change your vibration, like through evolution, and you are becoming a more spiritual person every day, it begins to feel like painful and uncomfortable to be around those kinds of people. And you're going to start to see their influences and their effects on your life. Like it's going to start to be obvious. And I've been through that where I'm like, oh, I've evolved, but I'm going to keep doing like the same low vibe things that I've always done. And Spirit's like, nah, girl, you need to put that down. And I'm like, no, I'm going to defend this self-sabotaging behavior because it's who I am. Guess what, baby doll? You're not who you were. You're evolving. Okay? You are evolving. All right? So for some of you, there's something in your environment. And what you can't see is the need to cut it out of your life. Okay? So whether it is baggage that you're carrying for other people, for some of you guys, it's like it creates a mental stress that has been so constant as long as you've been in that environment or relationship or pattern It causes such a tremendous mental stress that you've come to attribute as just background noise. Like, oh no, that's just the way that my brain is all the time. But once you begin to evolve and you find the peace within, you're like, yo, I feel kind of wigged out when I'm around certain people. But it ends up taking a mental toll on you. This need to be defensive. Some of you guys are just surrounded with people that you don't trust, and you know you can't trust them. And it just leaves you always on the defensive. Just look how many swords he's got. Like, maybe he's not looking for a fight, but he's ready for one, right? He's ready. And for some of you guys, this is, because this came out reversed. For some of you, this is you surveying the landscape and just being like, I know that I can't trust people. But then you take that ideology and you project it on everybody. I'm getting a lot of messages, you guys. All right? Let's reel them in. So the problem, though, is like you have everything you need to be able to cut this out. You have everything you need. Look at this. When I talked about peace and quiet, look at all this blue, this baby blue. It's about peace and calm. You're beginning to find an inner calm. This less violent is just a less energetic state. Or you're beginning to understand and be able to channel your energy towards your intents and purposes. Okay? But you're not really giving yourself the time to get into your feelings and understand the way that certain people really make you feel. Okay? Because you want to talk about peace and calm. Inner peace, that's the Four of Swords. That's the goal of the Four of Swords. We have that imagery here, plus the imagery, of course, of the Four of Cups. The Four of Cups is just taking a time out. Sit and like, I just heard John Lennon has this song, I'm just sitting here watching the wheels go round and round. I really love to watch them roll. That's what you're not giving yourself time for. Stop and watch. Just step back, disengage, and observe the environment, the behavior, the relationship. And you're going to see it. You're going to see it. And you're going to realize that it's time to go. That justice, balance, victory, healing all depend on you getting out of there. Okay? All right, I get you. We have another 9. It's like Uno when you hit a card and you have to keep going because there's a major underneath. And I do stop on majors when they show up when I'm pulling from the bottom of the deck. So this Hermit reversed. What this is, pardon me, is this fear of moving forward on your own, which shouldn't really be an Aries fear because Aries is all about self. I know who I am. This Hermit reversed here is about not being able to hear your own inner voice, okay? Because once you begin to realize how toxic this environment and this situation is and you move away from it, that's when Spirit's going to be like, all right, now let's do shadow work. And you're going to be like, I know, punk. I am not a punk. That's what Spirit's going to want you to do is some shadow work. It's just some inner searching. Just be like, let's learn to quiet all the other voices. And just listen to your own. That's what Spirit's really guiding you towards. You guys, look at these and look all this. Didn't I say Wounded Warrior earlier? All these bandages. You guys, a lot of times when we are acting in even a slightly unloving way, and I said at the beginning, it's because we're kind of lacking some love towards ourselves. This to me represents somebody who is so wounded And I don't mean broken. I just mean in need of healing, and it's okay. Somebody is so wounded but doesn't even really realize it until they walk away from the situation. For some of you guys, what's going to happen is they're like, let's say there's this crew of people, you've always been there for them, even if they're not the best for you. You're going to need somebody to be there for you, and they're going to show you something. You're going to be like, it really be like that though. And it's always been like that, but you're just, you know what I mean? Babe. He has a toy. Anyway, okay? This is there's so many nines. Okay? You guys, this energy is like, no, I'm not going to put this down. This thing is hurting me. And then once you have to step away from it, you're like, I didn't realize how much it was hurting me. That's why you're holding on to it so much. For some of you guys, you don't want to admit how bad something is for you, how toxic it is for you, how much it hurts your feelings. And Spirit's saying, we need you to do that. We need you. Because it's the as within, so without. Okay? If you're not able to speak that truth within, your external reality is not going to reflect the truth that you deserve better than that. Okay? Oi. So that is a heavy energy, but I believe in you and your ability to pull through. I'm going to see who might be guiding you in the process or what kind of energy you can pull on. This is the Angels and Ancestors Oracle cards. If you guys are still here with me, will you hit that like button real quick? Leave me a comment. I love getting to know my subscribers. I got a good collection of you guys I've gotten to know pretty well. And actually, I'm going to be real with you. Those monthly readings are really good for just building a relationship. Just being like, oh, yes, you got over that thing. Now, Spirit wants to do this. Spirit's the best. All right, guys. Let's see. There is a... Yeah, I get it. There's this need to release some sort of energy so intense that it's almost like you guys are... You feel like magnetized, right? Like I move within 3 inches of that bottle and it falls over. That kind of thing. Some of you guys, if that's to say, is your energy begins to feel really dense and heavy. Some of you guys, when you walk away from this situation, might take others with you. Okay? Got 2 of them. That's gorgeous. But also, they're blue, which has to do with the throat chakra. The need, you guys know that and I can't even think of the Sanskrit word for it now, but I can tell you that the Sanskrit word for throat chakra actually means to purify. So we got something in us and we're not speaking it. Just speaking it is this like act of purification of your own energy because you've gotten out whatever toxic truth you need to speak. All right. But blue is beautiful. And oh my God, are they both 2 freaking eagles? Now I'm hearing, what is that? Is that Wind Beneath My Wings? You are ascending. This bald eagle to me represents like a higher perspective, like a bird's eye view. Like you can be like, dude, but also didn't I say for some of you need to take a step back away from a situation and you're actually going to have clearer sight from a distance. Also, for those of you who are working with deities, any sort of father figure or sky deity has got your back. And here's the thing that I want to let you know. He's standing up there at the Thunderbolt, like you've seen the Tower card, right? You know that's me, right? You know I do that, right? That's what Sky God is like. Don't make me send this thunderbolt down there, this lightning bolt down there, and bring a tower moment into your life, Aries, to get you to be able to leave this behind. He's like, don't make me do it. But I love it. Eagle, see from a higher perspective, and Sky Father, trust in the unknown. And I say there's a little bit of a fear of walking away from this. I get it, because it's Aries. You're like, this is who I am. My sense of self was built to some extent around this pattern, relationship, or environment. Okay? But Sky God is popping in to say, look, you know you deserve better. You know you're on your way to better. You're just going to have to start doing better. And speaking. Okay? So if there's a main takeaway, it's about speaking your truth. You need to be honest with yourself. And then it kind of sucks when you're like, man, I can't believe I denied that for the longest time. Stop the judgment. Leave it in the past. Just move on. Okay? Because you got places to be, Aries. I love that eagle. And it's flying in both directions. I don't even know what that means, but it's so magnificent and it's so wonderful. And look at that eye. For some of you guys, this throat chakra challenge is what's going to open up your third eye for you. So, you guys, thank you so much for spending this time with me today. Yeah, I'll catch you later.